Today I fucked up by taking my birthday cake home from work, which everyone at work bought me intact. I was trying to keep my birthday on the down low at work, but one of my colleagues dropped me in it to the point that everyone at work bought me a cake and a card. Instead of cutting it up at work as I was just finishing, I took the whole intact cake home, and now I feel like an asshole. The day was going great and now I've literally realized that I fucked up and then some. Now I'm stuck with a cake that serves 18 people and I live on my own. Why must I screw everything up in the most colossal way possible? A for effort but F for execution. I should have had a slice and left the rest at work. Today I fucked up. I've now been back and corrected my mistake. People were rather chill but will likely think I'm a bit of a dumb bass. What can I say though? First work birthday. Too long didn't read. People at work bought me a cake and a card for my 29th birthday. Instead of cutting it and having a slice, I took the whole thing home intact, and it just dawned on me how much of an asshole it makes me look. Since corrected the error of my ways, I still feel a bit of a dumb bass but gonna get pissed and forget about it. You can just freeze it and bring in a slice once or twice a week and eat it in front of people, making sure they know it's your birthday cake. Damn, whoever bought it didn't even get a slice. I know, it just dawned on me. Can I get a redo button for today? I thought 29 was gonna be my year too. This is so funny. I have been there, took a pizza home, while it's normal for them to eat the leftovers the next day. I always cringe whenever I think back at that moment, but now I can say at least I didn't take a whole birthday cake with me lol. You could still take it back the next day, and say you tried to prank them or you weren't thinking straight. This is just amazing! Exclamation mark. I've been back now and corrected my stupidity. My brain must have been wired up wrong for a few minutes as I didn't sleep that well the night before. When something unexpected happens, sometimes you do unexpected things and can't explain why. This is okay. New job, new co-workers, probably pretty stressful for you too, since you didn't want anyone knowing about your birthday. I get the feeling you don't like to be the center of attention, so when this happened you just wanted to take your things and go. It wasn't until you had time to relax you realized your mistake. Don't sweat it, they will forget about it in a few days' time. Just take it back to work tomorrow to share and be like, sorry, I wasn't thinking. Lol. Today I fucked up by admitting I want to die on a Google Doc. Too long didn't read. Admitted I wanted to die on a Google Doc my school has access to. My parents will be notified. This happened maybe 10 minutes ago. Ironically, I was scrolling through this community at the time my day was ruined. So I, 17F, am in high school. And as high schoolers do, I was working on homework during some free time in class. I was feeling awfully apathetic and a little in need of a rant, so, like an idiot, I did so. On the Google Doc I was working on, my starting sentence was as follows: very little makes me want to die so much as this class. That was followed by maybe a page of how shit this school year has been for me. Fast forward about a day, I get called into the counselor's office. They want to speak with me about an assignment I was working on. Their algorithm picked it up. They start reading that godforsaken page out loud to me, and let me tell you, I have never wanted to die so much as in the 2-minute span. I insist I was overreacting. I apologize in vain, and soon enough they let me go. I know they'll tell my parents, who will make a big deal about this for a while, sending me more into the depths of the manhole that is my life right now. I mean, it's a little awkward / uncomfortable, but that kinda sounds like a good thing the school has in place. As long as there's no snooping just to snoop. That could potentially save or catch students who do need help but aren't speaking up. Usually schools / teachers / staff let students know that what they do on computers is monitored. That sounds like the monitoring in action. But I agree with you, I'm surprised that they weren't able to catch the fact you were just being a normal teenager and complaining about a boring class. Maybe they won't talk to your parents about it since it's just a dumb "I'm so bored I wanna die" comment. I'm sure you're not the first, and I'm sure you won't be the last to go through something silly like that. One of my friends googled how many Flintstone vitamin gummies does it take to overdose on a school computer, and the same thing happened to him. On a school computer, so I can't Google that. How many? should have added an lol or /s. That pretty much gives you free reign to say whatever you want, according to the internet. I get where the school and you are coming from. From the perspective of the school, there has been a rise in student suicides over the past year, as well as an increase in mental health issues due to the isolation and restrictions imposed upon students, and everyone, due to COVID-19. So, they are at least showing some concern. On the other hand, if they would have read it for what it was, instead of reading more into it than was actually there, this wouldn't have become an issue for you. If the school suggests counseling, and your parents want you to go into counseling, do it. Just be sure to request that the counselor/therapist is not provided by the school. If they are from a private practice, not employed by the school system, then you have a real outlet for talking about things without it being divulged to your school authorities or parents. Keep in mind that they are mandatory reporters, though, which means that if you talk about instances of abuse to you or others, talk about committing, or having committed certain crimes, talk about wanting to harm yourself or others, they do have to report that to the proper authorities. So, don't look at it as punishment, but rather as an advantage. Use the system to your advantage by having a counselor/therapist that will be a mostly confidential person to whom you can tell most of your problems, anxieties, etc. to, and who may be able to help you through some difficult times when others don't have anyone to turn to. I hated high school and most of the classes were just a blur of someone droning on about something I really didn't care about. Realize that most people think, say, or write that they want to die as an exaggeration of being in uncomfortable or boring situations. It's just a figure of speech that, unfortunately, has to be taken very seriously these days. Hopefully, this whole situation will blow over without too much hassle for you. Anyway, I wish only the best for you. I sometimes wonder if the school does the right thing telling the parents. What if the parents are part of the problem? Not in this case, but you know, another. I definitely agree. In my opinion, it's counteractive and dangerous in some situations. Today I fucked up by ripping blood vessels out of my chest, NSFW. I'm an avid skin picker. Ever since I was a kid I couldn't stop picking at myself, scabs, acne, ingrowns, random bumps. For the most part, it's been a fairly benign addiction. I could usually stop myself before causing any real harm, and the extent of serious injuries caused was some scarring on my legs. Today, it ended up landing me in urgent care. Last week, during an especially rigorous go at my skin, it came to my attention that there was a tiny, red, slightly raised dot on my chest. Cancer? Blood blister? Pimple? We were gonna find out. I went after that sucker, trying to pop and push and pull. I ended up with a little, bloody crater and some mangled skin. Very unsatisfying. I left it for another day. Fast forward to the present, and that tiny red dot had, in its healing process, enlarged to a purple/red circular growth the size of a small marble. The worst part was it was attached not at the full diameter mark, but tapered a bit, creating a sort of squat stem of flesh rooting it in place. Anytime I bumped it, it got sore, and having this huge growth was driving me crazy. It really felt like if I just pulled it hard enough, it would come loose. Cue the today I fucked up. I sat myself in the bathroom, got a firm grip on it, and began slowly increasing force. I could see the edges of the stem starting to stretch and break. This was it, the promised land. Freedom from the bump. I gave it one last, fierce pull, and all hell broke loose. Chunk of the growth dramatically tore away from the base, instantly becoming wrinkly, grey and deflated. Blood gushed from the wound, streaming down my chest and onto my pants. In a panic, I tossed the dead flesh into the trash and grabbed a handful of toilet paper. It was soaked almost on contact. Grabbed a rag and tried to apply pressure, but the moment I let up it would start gushing again. By this time I was pretty freaked out. It didn't hurt necessarily, but watching all that blood soak through the rag was alarming. It took me 10 more minutes of failed self-nursing to decide to head to urgent care. Turns out it was a cherry angioma, which is basically a tight ball of blood vessels. My first assault had caused the vessels to swell, resulting in enlargement. The nurse was shocked that I would tear it off. Ended up with 2 shots directly to the wound, the doctor carving out the rest of the angioma and nearly requiring cauterization. But hey, I read that it costs upwards of $100 to get it professionally removed, and all mine cost was a tiny scar and $20. I'd call that a win. Seriously though, don't do this lol. Too long didn't read, picked at a cherry angioma until it swole, tore it off myself and caused massive bleeding. I have cold sweats and my stomach hurts. Fuck. This is a cursed post, dude. Glad you're okay, maybe look into treating your compulsive picking. The second you said little red bumps and describe your bump, I already knew where this was going. You're not the first guy. I've seen a few bad pickers on my rounds, but normally they don't get to that point lol. Make sure to keep it clean, it's gonna take a while to properly heal, and do not pick at the scab please. Reading this made me realize that if I ever picked to this point I would probably pass out and die. A sudden loss of control would make me faint. I have dermatillomania too, and oof, this hit home. I'm gonna go pick my face now, I'm stressed. Yes, I am very glad you are okay and thank you for this cautionary tale. Sorry dude, didn't mean to set you off. It's like yawning for skin pickers, haha. Every time I see a popping or plucking video I feel the urge come on. I actually feel lightheaded after reading this.